Mark Gibbonson, and I'm moderator this evening. And I just want to explain the rules and how it's going to be going. So we're starting off the program by each candidate, for whatever they're in, they have drawn numbers, so they've got the seats that they drew. We're going to start at the far end with Alan Fenton. And then when he's finished, he's got 5 minutes. Everybody has 5 minutes to speak. So they will end up here. Then we will go to questions that people have put in the box. Just for a show of hands, for a laugh here, how many people put a question in the box? Fabulous. You'll be here on Tuesday. So the way it's going to work is that I'm going to get the bowl with these things in, they put them in, and I'm not going to touch any of them because I want this to be the fairest thing you've ever been at in your life. Nobody's seen the questions. I haven't seen them. I'm glad there was that many because some of them might get thrown out for bad language and all that kind of stuff. So if we're ready to go, why don't you start off, Alan? This is Alan Fenton, who's running for mayor.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Alan Fenton, it was brought to my attention that everybody was anxious to know who we are and what our intentions are for Chase. And myself, I've never been in politics, but I've been serving the public pretty much all my life. I'm a retired truck driver. And one thing I'd love to do in my life is marketing. And I believe Chase sincerely needs marketing because my wife and I have raised a family here. We've been here for 21 years now. And I began in market. I started selling TV converters way long time ago. And I was bringing entertainment to the people. And my company at the time was going bankrupt. And I approached them and I said, let me run it. And within 1 year, we went from bankruptcy to $1 million sale. And I would like to do that with Chase, to make Chase a very successful place. Yeah. Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I hope everybody can hear me. Anyways, I'm very good at marketing. And I believe Chase is a magnificent location. And as I was saying, with my business in TV converters, I actually outsold Rogers Cablevision. And now these days, I don't believe in door-to-door, and especially with COVID, nobody likes door-to-door. So my intention would be to market Chase, to make it a far more successful location. I was looking at in the duration of time we've been here, we've seen we always especially the corn farm, we paid a lot of every year we visited the corn farm, but now with the expansion, the corn farm, you know, it's like a lot of things in Chase, they disappear. And I don't want anything in Chase to disappear, especially the corn farm. That's just about a reality of Chase. And yet with the new highway system now, I mean, I don't know about all you people, but $16 a dozen for corn, that's crazy. And we always bought corn for a reasonable price. And I believe the corn farm, along with all the other locations in Chase, don't deserve to have to go away. And I would like to see reconnection to the highway, the corn farm, VLA Road, and so on and so forth. I believe also that Chase needs more employment. There's never, we've got the forest industry, that's pretty much taken care of. But I was looking at possibly mining in this area, and I know Kamloops was looking for container facilities, and why not Chase? In essence, we need more employment, and then housing as well. I was talking to one of the constituents here, and he was talking about housing.
1 minute.
Okay. We need more housing for sure. And we need more people in it. So if I was elected mayor, that would be my forte, is to market Chase in Alberta, British Columbia. They're saying that a lot of the people from Vancouver now are going to Alberta because people. Well, what's wrong with Chase? And that would be my intention, to encourage people to live in Chase. The old saying, build it and they will come. If we build it, they'll come. And Chase can be a successful area, and that's my intention for Chase. I want to see Chase succeed.
Thank you. That's 5 minutes.
Okay, thank you ever so much. Thanks, ladies and gentlemen.
Next is Jane Herman.
I feel better standing up, so I hope that's okay. I feel less fidgety. Okay, thank you all for coming. It's great to see so many people here tonight. This makes me really excited because as many of you know me, I am a people person. And I love to talk endlessly, and I like to organize things and bring people together. My 32-year career was spent working in the school district. And so clearly I love children. And yes, I even love teenagers. They're okay. I also enjoy visiting with seniors and hearing about their lives and their experiences. I feel strongly that everybody has something to contribute and everybody has a right to be heard. I love bringing people together, and unfortunately I can't take any credit for arranging the municipal election or this forum, but I do love that we're all here for a common purpose, and that common purpose is to bring Chase together. Because we all care. We all care about the community of Chase, or you wouldn't be here. You, the citizens of Chase, care enough to research and scrutinize candidates and to vote and elect a council that will serve you for 4 years. We candidates, all of us here, care enough to be your voice on the many decisions that will shape the future of our town. I would love to be part of that team, and I look forward to researching, collaborating, and making informed decisions to manage and complete projects needed for our village. Our little gem of the village has so many attributes that people look for in a community. The many new people I've met when I've been knocking on doors, who have all commented on the laid-back lifestyle, the beautiful natural surroundings, and the friendliness of people. That's all wonderful, but we still have work to do. When I say we, I mean the citizens, you, the community groups, and the newly elected council. Some of these projects may be simple and others may take a long time. But the most important part is that we implement a plan. Issues that are foremost on my mind are enhancing the downtown core, the need for extended beds, stability of our healthcare, reliable internet and cell phone coverage. Also working with our local First Nation bands to share incentives and ideas. And of course, if you know me, all things recreational, anything recreational, I'm there. Climate change initiatives are important. And most importantly, I feel that we need to coordinate the community groups to identify a common vision for that. So all of our groups that work in different areas, it would be nice to get them all together and identify I'm sure we all have the same vision. All of these things need to be done in a carefully planned, judicious manner with vision for the future. With your vote, I can be your voice in forming this for Chase. Things I can promise if I'm elected, I'm going to talk really fast now, that I will work tirelessly for the community, that I will ask questions of citizens and fellow council members so we can direct Village of Chase administration with the community's wants and needs. That I will work collaboratively with fellow council members, that I will be present in the community and available to you and the citizens, that I will commit to clear and regular communication. Things I cannot promise, that community concerns and ideas will be resolved instantly, that I can change policies single-handedly. That change will be immediate. It will take time and patience together with council and administration to make the changes. I'm new at this, but I'm willing to take a challenge, dive in with both feet and do the best I can to serve our community. Please make sure your voice is heard at the polls, and thank you. I look forward to possibly serving the community of Chase.
Next candidate is Sandra Welton.
So those of you know me as Sandra Welton. I'm really nervous. I'm not good at this. I am Lori Welton's daughter 34 years ago. I'm already loved. My mom always called it God's country. She loved it. I moved here 8 years ago, took care of my aging parents. My mom has since passed, but my dad is still in the community. My dad loves this community, and I'm proud to say that I came here and I've jumped into everything. I've jumped into the Lions, which I'm very proud to say I'm the medical officer for the Lions Club. I've worked with the fire department. I've worked since I've been here with the Chamber of Commerce. I've done lots of different things. As most of you know, my parents owned a storage business, so I take care of that now. I'm very active. I'm well organized. I'm very involved with the community. There's lots of things I want to see for Chase. I can't promise things that I can't commit to. All I can do is listen to your concerns and definitely look at them and see if there are things that I can make better for Chase if you vote for me. My background is a social worker. I spent 22 years as a social worker specializing in addictions and mental health. So I have that background to help me. My experience is both from my working as well as my volunteering stuff. I've learned to take team approaches. I'm really good at problem solving. Being a social worker, that's a lot of what you do. I work well with the public. I take criticism well. I know I have lots to learn. I'm open to people telling me what I could do to make things better or how I could do something differently. I'm always willing to learn to be better and better for the community. The biggest thing I want to state is I'm honest. I have integrity. I'm transparent. I think as a council, we need to be open and honest with you guys because I think stuff that goes on in the village, there's a lot not known. And that's what people wonder. People have concerns. People want things. Their answers aren't being addressed. Their questions aren't being addressed. The village has, different issues with different areas in the village. We don't know about them all. And I think as a community, we all need to work together. That's the only way you're going to form a village is working together. And that's what I would like to see do. I would like to see local businesses move forward. I would like to see more businesses come to this town, how we can attract them. That's something we need to work together to figure out because we need more businesses in town. I would like to see improving tourism, improving senior services, like increased family and children activities. Like we've definitely come forward with some stuff like the splash park, skate park. We are moving forward, but there are a lot of young families here now. Before, I think it was more focused on the seniors. Now I think we're 50-50 with young families and seniors. We have a couple of big businesses in town that do provide work for 7, 8 people or more. You know, I think we need more businesses to support families that are coming here, because it is, or was an affordable place to live. Hopefully, it's still an affordable place to live compared to Vancouver. I just want to see Chase take a more unified, inclusive approach to deal with the community needs. And that, I think, is listening to what you guys want, like for the turnout here. I mean, you guys are interested in what we're going to do for you, so you have ideas and input. And I think that's what we need to listen to.
1 minute.
Good, because I'm running out of things to say. I can either go on or stop real fast. All I want to say is, like, again, I mean, I'm Sandra Welton. My parents have been a huge part of this community, and I really hope you vote for me so that I can show you what I can do for you.
Next candidate is David Lepso.
Hello, everyone. Is that working good? The sound like that? Sounds good? Okay, I just finished the speech up this morning, so I gotta read it this way. So thanks for coming out tonight. My name is David Lepso and I'm running for Mayor Chase. I am running for Mayor Chase as I'm a longtime resident and have extensive knowledge about Chase and municipal government. A good mayor needs to be a good leader. To be good at bringing everyone together. This will include working well with the newly elected council and working well with you, the people of Chase. We will work together to maximize Chase's potential. Given my knowledge and experience, I believe that I am the best candidate to successfully lead Chase forward. I have worked well in the past with numerous clubs, with both a director and a member at large. Please feel free to look at my RAC card for more information on this. I will always strive to connect with you. Prior to the last election, when I ran for mayor and lost by 11 votes, darn it, I served on council for 3 terms with 3 different mayors and had the privilege of serving with Ali for 4 years. So I served with 3 mayors, all of whom I am happy to say are supporting me, which is a great honor. The number one thing I learned from Harry Daniluk was don't sweat the small stuff. Ron Anderson, when Ron was the mayor, if something happens, let it play out before you react. Let it play out. Rick Berrigan, what I learned from Rick was sometimes as the mayor representing Chase, you have to be a little forceful and stand up for what's best for the village. There will always be a great many issues for the new council to consider. The first year will be tidying up issues left by previous councils and finding out which direction the new council wishes to take. So the second year will be budgeting for the direction of council with input from the people of Chase decide to take, which will be you people. Together, the second and third year will be completing the projects, and the fourth year will be finishing up on any projects not yet complete. I will use this 4-point plan to address the issues. I can solve any problem with this. The first you are from Einstein. Rule number 1, you can't solve a problem by using the same level of thinking that caused it. Rule number 2, definition of insanity. Doing the same thing over and over, expecting different results. Rule number 3, when engineering a project, use existing materials. In other words, look around to see what you already have. So what does the village of Chase already have? With all this is my rule number 4, what's the opportunity? What's the opportunity? I really see a need to connect the community, and I'm hearing this already. To connect the people, the clubs, and the village office, so we all work as one, not separate. One way to connect the community will be a monthly newsletter in the newspaper from myself, the mayor, to you, the people of Chase. I would like to get taxation increase down to more reasonable level to around 3% a year.
1 minute.
Thank you. The primary functions of a village are water, sewer, garbage, and roads, and as well the health of the community, doctors, etc., and the health of the clubs, it's the health. I think there's much work to do, and I'm excited when I look at this great pool of talent that you see up here among the candidates running for council. So please vote for me on October 15th for Mayor of Chase, and I'm more than ready to roll up my sleeves and get at it. Thank you very much.
This candidate is Ron Harder.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you all for coming out. My name is Ron Harder. I'm that guy that's from Pritchard who's moving here. I just want to tell you, I'm 74 years old. Somebody told me that's the new 47. So all of you my age bracket, we've done lots of
You
campaigns.
can't hear you back there. Stick it in closer to your mouth.
My wife and I have 6 kids, 15 grandkids, and soon to be 6 great grandkids. Everybody said that's a lot of people, but I said, my grandfather was a Mennonite. He read the Bible and it said, go forth and multiply. So he had 23 kids. I think he thought he had to do it by himself. I spent several years on councils in Williams Lake on city council. First was the town council, then we became the city. And that was an experience. I spent 4 years on the parole board, National Parole Board, appointed by the Prime Minister for that. I spent 10 years as president of the Provincial Social Credit Party in the Caribou, and 10 years for the Federal Progressive Conservative Party. And 1 year they decided to hold an election at the same time. So that was pretty tough, running 2 elections and running my business at the same time, but we made it. And both our candidates got elected. It was nice. We also during this time, I spent 52 years in the modular home business. So I know that we can build affordable housing. I know how we can build affordable housing. We need cooperation from governments at all levels, federal, provincial, or municipal. It's the only way we're going to get it done, and it can't be huge profits for everybody doing it. There has to be some common sense in the thing, and there has to be some restrictions if you get into it. And I have some plans for that I want to discuss with the new council if I'm elected, because I think we can build affordable housing. I lived in one myself many, many moons ago, and there were some restrictions that you had to abide by to go into them, but it got us started in the housing market. And I think now they're building way too many 2,000 square foot houses for people that can get by with 1,000 square feet. You know, if they really wanted to start getting into the housing market. So I think we have to relook at what we're building and why we're building it so expensively, because it doesn't have to be that way. Over the years, when I lived up north in Williams Lake, and we lived in a place called Big Lake, which is halfway between Williams Lake and Lakely. And we built a store there because my wife at the time said that we'd have more time together, which was sort of the biggest lie since I'm a little bit pregnant. I don't think we ever worked so hard in our life for so little, but it was a good experience for the kids. They knew they had to work after school, and it taught us a lot about business. And at the same time, I was asked to chair building a community hall. And so we went around to all of the community halls in the area and we said, what did we do right? What did we do wrong? We want to build a hall, but we don't want to be in debt afterwards. And we don't, because we know that with community halls, it's like this and like this. You know, there's peak interest times, there's times when it's not used as often. And we wanted to make sure that whatever we did was going to be sustainable in the courthouse. And so we ultimately ended up building a hall, and then we convinced the school board to build the school down there. And then we charged them $900 a month for using our hall for a gym. And so if we didn't use the hall at all year, it still paid for itself. So, you know, that was one of the major things that we accomplished there. And it's still there today, 30 years later, and doing well. My main thing with coming to Chase, we always wanted to live here. And it just never seemed to work out. Every time we thought we were going to move here, something came up. I ended up going from Grinnell to Prince George, from Prince George to Dawson Creek, from Dawson Creek back on the Kamloops, and then prior to that, I've been in Saskatoon for 3 years. And it just seemed like I went all around the place, but I never could get into Chase, and now we finally, with retiring, are now finally able to get into Chase. I look forward to it. I'd like to see more businesses, and I'd like to see more people. And really, you need more business, but to get more business, you need more people. And if you have more people, then you can get more business. So the two are hand in hand. And I have experience on that end of it that I think we can bring that to council and hopefully have some success in building a good, strong community. That's good for everybody. And other than that, I respectfully ask for your vote on the 15th, and thank you very much for coming out.
Next is Crystal Lulawa.
Hi, my name is Crystal Lalahat. It's not Hawaiian. Everybody thinks it is, but it's not. And I'm running for a seat on council. And I'd like to thank everyone for coming out tonight. It was so nice to see the community come together. And I'd also like to thank the curators and the moderator for making this evening possible. And I'd also like to wish all of the fellow candidates here, because we've got a lot of good choices here. I've been fortunate to call Chase my home for 24 years. I think it's a wonderful place to raise a family. And we're blessed to live where we do with all the conveniences of the amenities and the beauty of the lakes and mountains that surround us. I've opened my first business, Structures Hair Studio, in 2005, right here at Chase. It was filmed and featured in a Community Futures success story. Then in 2013, I went and tried something different. I went and worked for the Adams Lake Indian Band in the Public Works and Housing Department as an office clerk. I also worked as a water sampler. So I would go and travel around to the various CWS and IWS, and I would take the water samples and I would test them in the lab, and I would send them, of course, to CBC. I am now currently the owner of Sheer FX Hair Studio, just down there on the main street. And having owned two businesses here, I understand the importance of supporting the development and the success of the businesses in our community. That is why I will work hard to bring attraction for new families and tourism to Chase. This is a project that Chase has been working on for over a decade. I think, quite a long time now. And we've got some good ideas I'd like to share with you. One of them was the subject of a mural tour with the QR codes that was brought up at one of the council meetings. And I think it's very beautiful and fitting that the first one of its kind would be the reconciliation mural. And with that idea, I think that is two birds with one stone. We'll be bringing beautification to Chase and as well as attraction to Chase. And I was just in Nelson recently, and they have this one of the most beautiful cities in BC, and they have a mural tour, but they don't have a QR code with it. So that would be something that sets us apart. And I think it would be something that the locals would enjoy, as well as tourists. The schools can take enjoyment in that, going to the various historic sites, seeing the mural, scanning the code, they'll tell the story. I think that's a wonderful thing to have and very attainable. It's time for change, and it's all about the future of our village. And we will need to push the boundaries of the 21st century with fresh ideas and a new way of thinking. This construction of the new highway is going to bring many changes to Chase, and we need to put things in place to ensure that the future of the village will continue to thrive and grow, because it can go two ways. As a stylist working daily in the service industry, I've had the opportunity and pleasure to listen to what the people of Chase have to say. And I hear and I share your concerns in the many areas. I've heard the need for a strong emergency plan. For example, last year when we had the evacuation alert for the fire, there wasn't a lot being done as far as, letting people know like a go bag. What is a go bag? Well, we didn't know, and we didn't know what to put in a go bag. These are simple things that we need to do. And we need a strong emergency plan. Support sustainability for our first responders. That's really, really important. We need to make sure that we don't lose them. And I've also heard the frustration surrounding the increased rate of, I know we're limited as to what we can do about it, but there are some things that I think that we could try. And also the need for a youth center or more activities where they can thrive and build healthy peer relationships. That's really important. Our youth need somewhere healthy to hang out and spend their time.
1 minute.
And last but certainly not least, the housing crisis and rental affordability needs to be addressed. These are just a few of a long list of things that need our attention. I'm not one who will run a campaign on false promises, but rather I will promise you this, is that I always stand up for what's right. And it's not in my character to back down or give up easily. And I've never been one who is satisfied with the answer you can't, especially when it comes from a place of inability to embrace change. I see that as a challenge, and I would rather explore all of the ways of how you can than to simply walk away on the word of someone who says you can't. And I was always taught and have a firm belief that if there's a will, there's a way. That if there's ever anything truly important to you, you can always find a way. If you should elect me for a seat on council, this is how I will be your voice. I will advocate for what's right, and when others say can't, to the things that are important to you,
Thank you, Crystal.
I will be the one to fight for a way. Very much, my friend. Thank you.
Next candidate is Stephen Scott.
I want to first thank the Chamber for organizing and hosting this forum. Tom, fellow candidates, and most of all, fellow citizens. I am Steve Scott. I'm an experienced and upcoming candidate for mayor. Currently, I'm an elected member of the Chase Council for serving for 11 years. I'm involved with current village issues. I have good working relations with our federal MP, our MP, our MLA, and some provincial ministries, nonprofits, and different societies. I am seasoned, and I can pick the ball up the day after the election. This past term, mostly I've dealt with unsexy business, water lines, sewer, and roads. After 3 years of assessments, we now have a roadmap that shows where the village needs to replace water lines and repair roads. Now that we have that map, we have to develop a capital works plan so that going forward, we will know where and when to build. At the start of this term, we had $2,000 in our roads. At the present time, we have over 500,000. With these monies and grants, we are allowed to restructure and repay the corner by the medical center and also repay Fifth Avenue and June. The village expects, once these projects are done, to have spent close to $700,000 in paving fees. I worry in the post-COVID era how we will fund these projects and pay to operate the village day to day. And we also have to keep in mind that we need the living here to stay affordable. I'm open to suggestions. But I'm sure every small municipality across the province are asking the same question. It's going to take more than the village to create economic opportunities. It's going to take working together with regional partners. For the first time, the village was invited and sat as an equal partner with the 3 local First Nations. That is historical, and it's only the beginning. We have so many common goals that we can work with. A common project example is this year's Salute to the Saga. It was organized by the Adams River Salmon Society, hosted by Little Shishwap Lake Indian, with support from BC Parks, Federal Fisheries, Pacific Salmon Foundation, the Village of Chase, and others. They worked together to make this salute an outstanding event. It is a 23-day run of salmon lifestyle education, and it is an economic driver for the region. Another thing, in last year's budget, we created an evacuation plan. The village just received a grant to do the census of elderly with medical and mobility issues, citizens about transport, homeless. I would like to see a part-time contract position created to oversee and maintain these spaces. Liaise with provincial agencies to keep everything current. This will ensure a safe and orderly evacuation if one is ever needed. To me, the most important aspect of being a mayor is being the point person.
1 minute.
I would love to be that person. Please vote on October 13th. Thank you.
Fred Torbaum is the next candidate.
Hi, my name is Fred Torvald, I'm a longtime resident in Chase, and I welcome everybody to this all candidates forum and the candidates sitting at the table here. On? Can you hear me now? All right. I've been a longtime resident in Chase. I came here, our family came here in 1959. I went through school here right from grade 1 through grade 12. I worked around Chase. I had my main employer as I was a teenager was Holdings Lumber Company, now known as Interfor. From there, I did have a small business at one point at Jade Mountain. Many of you may remember that service. And through that business, I learned a little bit about keeping books and realized that when you're running a business, you need to have a balanced budget. Apparently, numbers that are in the red in a business is not a good thing. Subsequent to that, I used to play cards with a few members in Chase here. I don't know whether it was legal or not, but anyways, we played cards and they talked me into joining into the RCMP. So that in 1974, I joined the RCMP and I spent 34 years there. A lot of it was on highway patrol, and I learned a lot through that occupation. One, in how to deal with management. Another is how to deal with the public on the road, because generally their first meeting you have with someone is when they see the red lights flashing behind their car, they usually think of bad things. My job was to be able to talk to people and make them comfortable with the meetings that we had. Subsequent to that, I retired in 2008. I took another job briefly, well, it wasn't briefly, it was for about 8 years. I worked for Talking Rock Golf Course at Little Shusha Reserve. And I went from highway patrol to slowing people down. And now I'm working on the golf course as a course marshal, so I had to start speeding people up. That was a pleasure for me to do that job. The past 4 years I spent on council. Through that experience, I learned a lot. I mean, it takes you a while to get into that position and feel comfortable. A lot of the stuff we did, you're always trying to please everybody when you start. We know that's not realistic. So I very quickly learned is that you listen, take the information. If you need to find out stuff, don't give answers that you know nothing about. My main thing working for the village is with our infrastructure. We have an aging infrastructure in Chase. Much of it needs to be replaced. We all know the roads are done, and that's one of the common questions I get whenever I'm walking around or talking to people is, when are you going to do my road? We've done a road assessment for the entire village, and we've prioritized as to how we're going to do those roads. Much of what we do is look at the underground stuff that has been done, and then we'll those places will get paid worse or first. And then as we move on is, we took the approach that, rather, we would, deal with the in-ground infrastructure.
1 minute.
And another thing that we're looking at is our emergency plan, which has come with the weather conditions that we have these days. Our emergency plan has to be updated, works in conjunction with our evacuation plan. We're looking at through the years, I've watched Chase grow. Housing is a big deal. Naturally, if you watch the market, when something comes up for sale in Chase, it grows very quickly. So we need to find these developments to increase the housing, because going down the road, we are going to have more people moving to Chase. Chase is a very desirable location to live in. And I hope, we get all this stuff done. Thank you again for allowing me to speak. I hope you'll give me your vote so I can continue on the projects that are currently going.
Thanks, Fred. Time's up. God, you're a good audience. Beverly Iglesias is the next candidate.
Good evening, everyone. As the other candidates have said, it's wonderful to see the participation tonight from the community. This just gives me hope that this will continue. Please don't go by the wayside and not continue to support your council, because it is necessary that we all communicate together. So I have been a lifelong resident of Chase. We came to the Chase Creek Valley in 1958. But I guess my real time of career started in 1993 when I became a real estate agent. I went on to become an agent 915, and I owned my own company. At that time, I learned about how to reconcile books. I had trust accounts. I was audited every year. So I had to have a budget every year, which was presented, and I had it, my books always taken care of by an accountant, so that I knew I was on track. Budgeting is very, very important, and it will be part of the councils going forward. We're going to have to learn to budget. This evening, I decided to bring the 5-year plan, and I've left copies at the back of the room. I think it's important for people to look at what the 5-year plan going forward in Chase looks like. There is only so many tax dollars to do all the projects on our wish lists. So do pick up a copy if you'd like. I also have my brochure at the back. It does give you a little bit of history of me and my involvement in the community as a person who goes out. I do volunteer. I have done several projects. It was kind of implemented with some dreams, I guess you could say, but many, many people came together as teams to complete those projects. And I commend the people who stepped up over the years. Going forward, I have 3 little things I wanted to say. And what I want to see is engaging the community. So we need to seek to achieve attainable goals. So we need to engage you to be involved. We need to build back the trust between our local government and the people of the community. I think we have a bit of a disjoint where a lot of people don't know what's happening here. The last thing I would like to see is community consultation, opening discussions with the community. And I will let you know, I will spend time in this community. You will see me out and about. I walk every day. You'll find me sometimes communicating with people who stop to ask me questions. I will not stop doing that. I will always be there for your questions. Few things that I think are attainable. I would like to continue seeing the emergency preparedness plan go forward. It is important. In 2003, along with a group of volunteers, we opened up this community hall and we cooked for all the structural firefighters. That was 2 weeks
of pulling the community together when there was a crisis. We did that again in 2017 by cooking for people from the north in Kamloops who were evacuated and had nowhere to go. The active transportation plan is also one of my, I guess you could say, it's just something I really believe in. We need to keep walking, need to keep moving. And the active transportation plan has some excellent and creative projects in it, including the walk trail on Chase Creek. I'd love to see that complete. I have been working with an engineer and a bit of
1 minute.
Ministry Environment and a few other places who continue to work with the Village of Chase. The last one is the emergency evacuation route. We have 2, but we need a 3rd, and we need to reopen VLA to the Trans-Canada. We need another way out. So I thank you, and on October 15th, I just say I'm applying for the job, and I hope I have your vote. Thank you.
You guys are getting rowdy back there. I heard some people moving. Last candidate is Colin Connett.
Hi there, my name is Colin Connett. I've lived in Chase all my life. You'll see me out daily walking my dog. I have the opportunity to work for the Village of Chase for 38 years. My career with the Village of Chase gave me the chance to work hands-on from labor to foreman. During my years with the Village of Chase, I had the privilege to really get to know the ins and outs of our community. I spent many hours interacting with both my fellow community members as well as the Village of Chase staff. This will give me the ability to problem solve and communicate to the proper source. My experience, hard work, dedication to the Village of Chase has me wanting to improve our town even more. This is my driving force to want to run for council. I want to represent all my fellow citizens, businesses, community programs. I believe there are many ways we can budget wisely and save money while still growing our village. I'm looking forward to being an advocate for all my fellow citizens. I'm prepared to listen to people's concerns, suggestions, advice, or opinions. Although it will not always be possible to change everything or please everyone, I'm open to try. Thank you.
Thanks, Colin. Do we need to take a 30-second stand up? Okay, stand up if you feel like. Okay, the way the questions were written out in the back there, the reason for that was because it eliminates the possibility of people, sticking it to one of the candidates, has done something bad, or, you can't influence anybody because you don't know the question. I haven't seen not one of them. So I'm going to ask the first guy I see here to pull one out. Happy anniversary, yeah. No, I'm dead. This question is going to be answered first by Jane Perman.
I'm ready. Can I ask a question? I want to know what's in the Purdy's bag.
Okay, what is your
Not what I expected.
you got that right. What is your opinion of developing the piece of property on the golf course that has been in question for years?
Well, that is an easy one for me, because if you'll remember, I said all things recreational. I think that is one of the last, well, it is the last waterfront piece of property in Chase. And I really would like to see it parkland, partial golf course if possible, another access for people to access the beach and the water. Our Memorial Park is well used. I've been down there many times for hours with my grandchildren and never seen a person that I know. So that tells you people are coming from out of town to enjoy that facility. And I think that we could use another one in Chase for sure. Thank you.
So I have to say, I agree a lot with Jane. We need more parkland and beach access. I've been down to the beach many times. And I don't know anybody, and there's nowhere to go because it's full. I would like to see some of that, like beach access that's easier to access, like for walkers or wheelchairs and stuff, because I know my dad rides a scooter a lot and it's awkward to get down to the beach unless you're on the pavement part, so he has to walk, right? I mean, luckily he still can a bit, but I think for the people that can't, they'd be able to get down there and put their feet in the water or whatever. So I agree, we're losing all our green space, so I think we should keep it for parkland or beach access.
So this actually happened one time when you guys didn't elect me, you lost the golf course. Yeah. So I always look for win-win situations. What I see here is the same thing we did on this hillside here when a developer bought it. We brought the province in and we did a land swap. So it's a win-win situation for everybody. So I would get discussions with Todd Stone, which has happened in the past. We find another piece of land in the province because the province owns 95% of the province. And we find a piece of land these guys are happy with. We get this land, we're happy. They get a piece of land, they're happy. Thank you very much.
I agree with what David is saying. I think we need to keep that for parkland. It doesn't make any sense to let developers have it. Because first of all, there's probably 100 feet of sand underneath there. So whatever you build is going to sink if you're going to put any kind of housing in there. And that would create another problem for the village. So I say leave it as parkland.
Yeah, I like the idea of it not being any housing there, but I have heard people wanting a marina. It might be a good location, I'm not sure, but it also keeps a park-like state and a place for boaters to come in. It also brings attraction maybe to the golf course. They'll come in and they'll eat, maybe bring more people into town. So I know that anywhere that has a marina, they do very, very well. So I think that is a possibility of meeting the best of both worlds if it's something that can be done.
That's a great question. This issue has come up many times. The developer, the last two councils I've been on, with the new council, they come forward with a proposal to develop. The last time it came, if you remember the 2018 floods in Grand Forks, the federal government bailed them out and they said, never again. And if a municipality puts a development on a floodplain, they take full responsibility for liability if anything happens. It's privately owned at the present time, and David is right, we could probably do a land swap, but it would have to stay either parkland or golf course because you could never develop it for housing or anything. Thank you.
Yeah, I agree with that as well. That property has always been zoned as a golf course, still is zoned as a golf course. I would like to see it go from to a combination of golf course and parkland. And my plan when I was looking at it was to redirect 2 holes back into that area. The problem, and as far as acquiring that property to make that happen, you know, we have to deal with the owner, but the owner doesn't want to deal with the village right now. The other thing is, like Steve said, I mean, the feds and the provincial government have said that you cannot zone residential or anything like that in a floodplain, and that property traditionally gets 3 to 4 feet of water on it every year at the high water mark. So So my position is that, the property is only useful to the village of Chase and to the golf course, and at some point, we're gonna come to an agreement with somebody to get that, and then we've got our combination of golf course parkland, and that's my position on it.
Don't know if there's anything I can add to that, other than the fact that the developers, I think, can be negotiated with. I don't believe that we've exhausted that. And so, as David said about the provincial government, yes, there is ways. Provincial government wants to retain this kind of waterfront. We will never, ever see it again. You look at Chabelos, that used to be part of our Memorial Park area. It's gone forever. But I also feel if we're going to keep it for the village, it must be usable by all residents and not just for one specific purpose. So we need to keep it open as much as we can. So I would be very willing to have someone sit on a committee and let's finally put this to bed. This has been too many times coming back to the table.
Keep it parkland. I knew he was always short. I didn't know he was short and sweet. Oh, sorry, Alan. Sorry.
Oh, I'm responding to the last question. Actually, part of my platform is, everybody is, all of you folks here are asking, well, what's your intention? I would love to expand Chase. One of the biggest things that's on my mind is a hotel on the water with boating facilities, marina, boat rentals, all which lends itself to employment for the young people in our community. And what one of our ladies said, marina is good. I was looking at the Memorial Park, for example. Memorial Park, as soon as the water level goes down, you cannot launch your boat in Memorial Park. You have to go to the river, which is very dangerous. So that would be, that was something I've looked at, that Memorial Park, the boat launch should be deepened. So people can use that on a regular basis. So this piece of property, that would be, I would join that consensus to use it as a boat launch. Anyway. You wouldn't believe the second question. How do you feel about the boat launch? Take it easy, Al. Many of the candidates, I'm going to put this down. Many of the candidates have a plan, direct goal of an indoor pool.
Wow, that's a big question for me. I think it'd be a great idea because I'd really like one too, but I'm not too sure that I have a plan for that. I mean, I know that is something people want, so we could look at it, but I can't make promises I can't keep. That's my answer.
I was very concerned with the last council when they decided to try to get rid of the land that Henry Group had given to the whole town for community recreation. If people don't know, we had a guy that donated land where the arena is, that was all donated. We bought it cheaply, kept it, gave it back to the village for recreation. The past council looked at taking some of that land and using it for another purpose. We might not get the pool today. When Henry Group first bought that land, it took 40 years to get the swimming pool. The arena. It might take us another 40 years to get a swimming pool, but we can't give the land up. Thank you.
I just want to make a correction that Henry Grove didn't donate the land. We paid $15,000 for it, which was almost nothing. Oh, I'm sorry. You said that? Oh, anyhow, sorry, David.
I spent a lot of years in Williams Lake where one of the lumber companies put up a pool. And they paid the majority of it. And so, you know, it became feasible at the time. But what really killed you was the maintenance. And that pool was shut down more than it ran for the first 5 years because you're forever fixing concrete or fixing this or fixing that. So the idea is very nice, whether it's practical or not, I guess time will tell.
I agree with what you said.
At a time when we are struggling to find funds to do our infrastructure, to look at an indoor pool, the capital costs would be astronomical. And on top of that, like was said, your maintenance costs, you dig a hole, you start pouring money into it, and you keep pouring, and you never end it. No, I'm sorry, I will never see a pool in this town in my lifetime. Thank you.
No, I basically feel the same way. I mean, the cost of the pool is so great for a municipality this size, it's not feasible. I mean, unless somebody wins the lotto, $20 million doesn't come by very easy. So, and we never have that kind of money to build that kind of project. Somebody would have to grant the whole thing to us, and then we'd still have to pay to upkeep it. So it's just a money pit, as far as I'm concerned. Thank you.
I suggest we go use the kiddies pool. It's open in the summer. I don't think we could ever afford to have a pool, and I agree with everyone. The maintenance is far beyond what we can afford as taxpayers.
I don't think we could have a pool either. It's too much.
Ditto.
Yes, I was actually informed at the time they built the hockey arena, there was an option at the time to put in a pool, and apparently it was never done. So as everybody said here or on council, that I don't think it's feasible financially. And in essence, pools are, well, there's facilities that the people of Chase want to take their kids. There's a beautiful pool in Kamloops, which is only down the road. And I believe also in Salmon. So I don't think Chase would have to put up with that expenditure.
What is your position on a new cell tower for Chase? Cell tower.
Yep. Thank you very much, Tom. All I know about that, or some of what I know, is when I try to get on my little machine there between 11 o'clock and 3 o'clock, might as well forget it. I would, in talking to people that know a little more than I do, I would suggest we talk to BC Tel or whoever the provider is going to be that wants to provide the service here. And we definitely need better service. Thank you.
I'd be happy if we could get better cell service just like everybody else. And like David says, you try after midnight or 3 a.m, you get on that thing and forget it, it's not gonna happen. I've had several phone calls already, about it, and the biggest concern seems to be where it's located. And, the people that did phone me said they don't want it in an area that's populated. They want it somewhere else. Now, whether that's feasible or not, I don't know. I don't know enough about it. But it does make sense if it's gonna cause a danger to people who don't want it, or it's gonna cause a danger.
I am aware of people's health concerns regarding a 5G tower. And I understand why those concerns are and why they don't want it necessarily right in their backyard. When we have a mountain, we can put it up on the mountain. And I do recognize that the cell service is a problem in this area for sure. I've lost many calls or not been able to make a call. Most of us are relying on cell phones. Not everybody has a landline anymore. So it is important that we can make those important calls, especially if it's an emergency call and we have no service. It is important. So it would be nice to be able to find somewhere a middle ground that is gonna be able to please everybody.
After the last two applications that came forward to council and the strong no vote, it was basically because they didn't want it in their backyard. I was at UBCM in Whistler a month ago, and I had a talk with Rogers. I gave them a location that is not in the community, that already has a radio antenna, and it's at the end of the Little Shuswap Lake. I gave them the coordinates, and they were going to get their real estate agency to take a look at it. I have given the contact information to administration, and hopefully they'll get back to us with a yay or nay. Thank you.
Yeah, we've done this dance with the different companies, Rogers and TELUS. I do agree we need to improve our phone service, but what they have done, they've hired a consultant to give them the best location. Well, that's not what the consultant did. The consultant gave them the cheapest location to put the cell tower, not the best location. And then when I put it to them to say that, okay, we have locations that also have power. Yeah, it might cost a little bit more. The last word, they came back to us and said, yeah, we'll look at it. And that's where it stands right now. Thank you.
Yes, we need a cell service. There's no doubt. And basically there's times where there's no way you can even make a 911 call. So I know TELUS has that on their projection is to try and get service to people for those 911 calls. I think TELUS is one they look at where they will put that tower and who will service it. If they're going to put it on the mountain, they've got to have a road to it. And they got to plow that road to keep it in, up to date and service it. So they're going to look at the cheapest possible way. And I have to agree, I don't think most people want it in their backyard. So hopefully they keep looking and we can maybe somehow as a community come together and we'll find a way to make it happen.
We definitely need a tower, but it is location enough. All it is.
My thoughts are communication is imperative. And as long as it's not damaging to anybody in the community, I know radio waves and so forth could be harmful. So as I say, if it could be done in a safe way, I'd be all for it.
I agree with everyone here. We definitely need better cell service. Many people that I spoke to on my campaign have moved to Chase and hoping to work from home and are very frustrated. If we want to have people come to our town, we need to have good cell service and good internet. I have terrible internet in my house. They've been there a million times. There's no reason it's terrible. We reset the modem 3 times a day. There's something wrong. So that kind of stuff just has to get fixed. We have to join the new age and get it done.
I agree with everybody up here that we do need better cell service. I think we need a good location for it. I think the location that they were looking at wasn't the right location. All I know is I went to Starlink because to deposit a check online when I had TELUS would take 18 tries. And I got frustrated, so I'm happy now, but we do need one for sure.
I'd like to see more community building between Chase and the Reserve. I'd like to see more community building between Chase, Reserve, Chase and Reserve. Okay, here we go with the next one. Oops. Will you support better cell service in Chase? What is your specific plan to attract business to Chase? Of the BOE. What is your specific plan to attract business to Chase?
That's a hard one. At this point, I really have to talk to council to see what kind of monies we have, but I think we should do some advertising outside our local area would be a good start. We should sit down as a council and decide what businesses do we need, because some of it may not be practical for somebody to come in here and start up. Amazon is big, Walmart, a lot of these places are big. We may need to go and revisit what type of businesses we want here that people can actually make a profit at. And that's what I would be looking for is what type of businesses can be sustained in a place like Chase. Obviously, we've seen the ones that closed, some of them couldn't be sustained because they couldn't compete. So I think we really have to look hard and long at what type of businesses should be in Chase.
Most of you all know that the population of Chase pretty much doubles, or 2.5 times in the summer. We really rely on our tourism. And I really do think strongly that we need to have a good attraction, and I'm really excited about the idea of the QR code mural tour. It's something that's attainable, it's something that's achievable, and it's something that is different that might set us apart from everywhere else. We need to be unique. We need something that people want to come and do. And these murals can go anywhere. They could be on, if you don't want it on the historic building with a historic walk, it could be a little billboard with the QR code that tells the story. If it's a home, it could be at fence heights. It's not blocking anybody's view, right along the side. Then they can go and scan it. Our schools can use it, our locals can enjoy it, and tourism can enjoy it. A lot of the art that can be done, many artists might even donate their work because it's going to be seen and appreciated so much. So it's going to add to the beautification of Chase, and it's going to bring people to Chase. And when people come to Chase, then we're going to have more development in Chase as well.
The current council has kind of addressed this a little bit. We've been got involved in what's called the PMP. It's the Entrepreneurial Immigration Program. So far, we've had 2 people that are interested. The criteria is you have to come in, you have to set up your business in Chase, and you have to run it for 2 years and employ Chase people. If there's new businesses coming in and they're building, what we could do is we could just tax them on the ground they're on, all the improvements, get 5-year waive for taxes, and then 10% or 20% a year on so 10 years down the road, they're paying full taxes. We have precedent because we did that with the zip line when they came in. We did not tax them for the first 5 years of their lease, so they could get up and running, because we know the first couple of years, it's all about cash flow. So we gave them the opportunity to have a cash flow so they could continue. Thank you.
Yeah, we're in one of those positions where we have Salmon Arm and Kamloops that are very close. So all the big box stores that are around us are basically have killed the small business that has come to Chase. So what we need is specific businesses that have niche things that you can only get in Chase and grow from there. But the idea is to encourage businesses to operate here. Like, expenses are high, rent is high for businesses, and you've got to make money. And if you're paying more for rent than you're selling, then it's not going to last very long. So, and one of the things the village has looked at is if businesses do start up, give them a bit of a tax break, and that way they can get going. And if they can get some traction, then hopefully they'll be successful. Thank you.
Good points. Right now, I think our downtown core is in need of some revitalization. As an entrepreneur coming here, or we're trying to entice a business to come here, they're going to find it a little difficult to find a building that's going to suit their needs without some remediation. So I think we need to kind of spruce up our downtown core to entice these people to come and have a look. Very hard to sell something to someone when there's so much work that has to be put before they even start to open a business. So, and then I think the council can look at helping them out, getting on their feet with a bit of a tax break.
I agree with that. The downtown needs to be cleaned up. Spruce it up a bit, more flowers, brighten it up a little bit more, and maybe we'll entice people. My first choice in Chase, I'd love to see a 7-Eleven, and well, that was going to be my second phrase, was that if we got a Tim Hortons, then or a 7-Eleven, should I say, then along would come Tim Hortons as well, and that's progress. And I believe what Chase really, really needs is a definite budget to market our location to places like Alberta and Vancouver, and say it really is. I actually had a phrase in my booklet here, and I would call Chase the undiscovered Whistler of the Shuswap, because it truly is. I mean, Chase is spectacular. Why would you have to go up a mountain when you can have it right on a lake? And that's what I would love to see.
Okay, I agree with everybody and everything that they said. Obviously, in order to attract more businesses, we need to come up with a plan. Here I am planning. I always like planning and organizing things. We need to get a vision for our town. I feel Manfred stole my niche word that I was going to use. And I feel like we need to find our niche. What do we want? What do we want to promote? And what do we want our town to look like? And then we all need to work together on that. I like Tim Hortons, I like 7-Eleven, but I also love our little coffee shops that we have in Chase. I think they're pretty amazing. And I like that vibe, so that's kind of where I'm going with that. So marketing our town is great, but we need to plan a little bit before we do that, so we know what we're marketing. And I'd like to keep it small. I don't know if anybody's been to Armstrong lately, but Armstrong's doing a fine job of updating and increasing their businesses and stuff. It looks pretty amazing. And they have a Farm Strong there. And if we got really good, maybe we could get a brewery. That's my big hope.
So I definitely agree with what everybody has said up here, but my thinking too is to attract more businesses. First, we gotta find workers to work in these businesses. Because that seems to be a concern right now, but I think if we made the town prettier, we beautified it, we increased tourism. The more tourism we have, the more people will want to move here and bring their businesses here. Like we had a Fields for years, it did it well. I mean, maybe like a Red Apple or things like that, but again, I think it's the rent that is high for people. Businesses starting out can't pay these kind of rents, that's why we lose a lot of businesses in town. So I agree, we have some work to do, and like Jane said, we need a plan, and I think that's what we need to work on as a council.
The first thing I see that we need to reinvigorate the Chamber of Commerce. We need the businesses to step up. And let's get this Chamber of Commerce going like it used to be. We used to have the biggest parties here with the Chamber. It's just a great time. So how many of you remember the 100-year anniversary we had in Chase? Anybody? 2008? Well, that's when the mill started up and the town started up. My plan is in 2024, it'll be the 100-year anniversary of the end of the mill. If you ever go into the interior savings and look at that big picture of the parade, we're going to recreate that event. Going to start at the train station, and have a band walk uptown like they did. We're going to unveil historical pictures, hence use existing materials. We had a zoo in Chase. We got pictures of the zoo. We're going to go down to the lake. We're going to unveil pictures down at the lake. Whitfield Chase had a store there. The first boat for the gold run was built down there. We had a ball diamond down there. So all the other towns have done it. We'll just blow up pictures, put them up, have a bench, and that'll reinvigorate the downtown and the whole town. Thank you.
If elected, what will you do to help improve the internet phone service in Chase? Thoughts on Freedom Convoy? We have a rebel in here somewhere.
Oh, are we actually answering the question? Oh,
No.
What is the source of the depth of your knowledge of municipal government? Ooh.
of course, I get the hardest question. Holy.
What is the source and depth of your knowledge on municipal government?
How much do you know and where did you learn it?
Oh,
All right.
I think pretty much everything.
Sorry? Oh, that's all right.
Well, clearly I'm new at this, so there's lots to learn and you never stop learning, that's for sure. But I think everything that I have learned basically would be what I've experienced here in Chase. And I had actually started more recently getting more and more involved and wanting to be involved in government. Just because of all of the things that have come up and the issues that have come up and hearing what people have to say and I'd rather be proactive than, you know, in doing something. So, you know, I don't have obviously all the experience in the world and a lot of people that start out don't, but I'm willing to learn and I'm willing to take on the task.
I've been in municipal politics for the last 11 years. I've learned every year from either our financial officer, our CAO, our corporate officer. Every year, we have the opportunity to go to courses. One is Southern Interior Local Government. They put on courses every year. Another one is we go to UBCM where they put on courses. So over the course of 11 years, I have learned new things every year going forward. Thank you.
And I'm in the same boat. I've spent the past 4 years on council, so that's the source of my knowledge. And I learned very quickly that you don't wave a magic wand and it suddenly appears. There's a process to follow. There is grant funding, whatever the project may be. And so it's a procedure. Whenever we do something, it's a procedure, and we have to follow that procedure. And that's my source. Thank you.
These two have way more advantage because they've been there for quite a few years. Municipal, where do you learn it? Go attend some council meetings, read your agendas, read the minutes. You'll find out a lot about what happens in the community. And that's where you're going to get your knowledge from. And then if you get elected, you get to go some of these courses and you'll be educated on how municipal government works.
I am not, or having been, I'm very, very interested in politics. And pretty much most politics are what people are looking to have and wanting to have. So I'll listen. And if I see a need in case, that'll be my ambition to fulfill it for the community. Thank you.
Okay, well, my political career started in grade 7 when I was elected as a social credit candidate in our school at one point for an election that we, so I don't know why I was social credit. It was probably the blue or something I liked. I'm not sure. Also, I was always on student council in high school. I was everything from the president to the dance supervisor, organizer, to the person who filled the vending machines. I did all of that. So that isn't municipal, but that gets you in the door to see what kinds of jobs and things are needed. My dad was an alderman in Chase in the 70s, the late 70s. And he also was a business owner. And he spearheaded a downtown revitalization project that was highly contentious because of tax dollars. And I remember watching that process with him. It was defeated in a referendum. And hence my reason for always a vision for years down the road now, because that would mean right now in Chase, we would have all our underground power and sidewalks and everything would be so much more beautiful. So if people could have only thought ahead, so that's one of my driving forces for running. I've also attended many council meetings for various things and always been in awe of the work and the dedication and the slow progress, which is going to be tough for me. But yeah, so that's my my political, so basically it's zero, but I'll try my hardest.
Well, I'm right there with Jane. Mine's kind of zero, because I remember when I was young and learning to vote, I used to ask my mom and dad, and they never voted the same. So it was like, okay, you guys aren't helping me. I had to pick on my own. I've attended a lot of council meetings. I know lots of business owners in town. I'm a business owner, so I know that stuff. I think I'm just basically want to listen to what the people need, and I'm a fast learner. So whatever I need to do this, I'll learn it and do it right quickly.
The first time I ran for council was in 1999, and that's when the arena was on a referendum. I actually stood up and spoke well on the arena because I knew we needed an arena. I'm not too sure on the question, but the best I can answer is, as a historian, the first level of government in Chase was the Island River Lumber Company. The fire department was the second level of government, and then the water board, which Colin's dad chaired. Colin, your dad chaired the water board society, and this was just before we incorporated. So everybody that knows me, when I do something, I do it very well. So I've read the minutes of every council meeting that the village has ever had. I have master notes at home. The first budget for the village of Chase in 1969 was $20,000. So, and I've served on council for 10 years. I've got a good working knowledge. So that's a little bit of my background. Thank you.
Well, I've been involved in politics since 1972. At the municipal level, provincial level, federal level, on the parole board, which is probably one of the most useless organizations in the world. The UBCM, I went to one meeting. It just seems to be a drunk at the taxpayer's expense if you drink. The TNRD is a good example of that. Having $1,500 dinners, and using our tax dollars as a personal ATM. But there are a lot of good courses available, but you can't beat experience. And that's where I come from.
The range of blast patterns from trains is offensive. And lack of accountability is intolerable. What will you do about trains? Okay, thank you.
We spent 2 years and over $10,000 on whistle cessation. We had all our I's dotted and T's crossed. We thought we had it. We passed everything that Transport Canada wanted for us. At the 11th hour, CP Rail came forward with a plan. You build us a 1.2 kilometer long fence at $600 a meter. And we'll give you crystal solution. That's $600,000 of taxpayers' money for a 1.2 kilometer fence. It said, yes, we could get a grant for 80%. So we're still on the hook for $200,000. When 1% tax increase brings in $17,000, you just can't do it. And another thing with grants is you have to pay the full cost, and then they reimburse you certain periods. So we'd have to have a $600,000 in the cash reserve to do it. So it's on the shelf. It's not dead. We'll have to revisit it. CP has a community relations manager that we're going to have to invite to a council meeting to show him our concerns, not only on train whistle cessation, but the train engines sitting by the information bureau and running all day for days on end. We have to show them that our concerns, and maybe they'll listen to us. Thank you.
Basically, Steve gave me all the information and I have the same information, so I won't talk about that. But the only other thing that came up there, one of the options was to build an underpass, but they looked at the expense of that, and unfortunately Chase would be on the hook for building the underpass. We're talking $1 million plus, and that's pretty hard to get in our budget. So that's where it's at right now, and that, as Steve said, that thing is still on our strategic plan and it's still ongoing.
Thank you, Steve and Fred, for giving us the information that so many people are asking for. I think that we could have probably put out a better information bulletin to people to let them know how far they went and what was spent and where we were at. So I hope we continue to go forward and continue to look at ways that we can help people, because I know it is a concern in this community.
I agree with Fred and those guys, and try to talk to them again in that moment. As a retired truck driver, the only thing that would be possible for Chase would be an underpass because of the oversized, for example, double-sided cars on the track. So you could only do an underpass here reasonably. And my wife has always said, it'll take somebody to die. I live on Hillside, which is this side of the track, whereas a lot of people live on the north side of the track. And I would love, and I would lobby for Chase as well, that we get some sort of non-stop transportation between both sides. So I would be a strong advocate of an underpass for train.
I don't really know much about the train whistle, except for what you guys have said, which is promising. You've had discussions and stuff with them. But I have noticed that it's very random. Some people blow it really loud and really long, and some people blow it really short and really sweet. So I'm wondering if there's a train whistle blowing school, or, because I'm curious, is there not a recommendation for? No, there is not. Oh, you can just do whatever you want when you go through the middle of the town. I'm asking you because I know you know. A sequence, yes, but not how loud.
Old people and young.
Oh, okay.
Been around for 38 years, I'm gonna mention this.
Okay, please, I'm just curious.
Okay, Transport Canada required one of the engineers to look at the crossing before the crossing, before the mile.
Yeah,
Okay, from there, the actual rule is. Because I used to have to try and work with the ordinance. Yeah, you can ask. The whistle for the crossing is, too long to short the line. You're supposed to start at 40 miles whistle post and continue going the whistle through the crossing. Most of you guys do not comply with the rule because they're trying to be real good to the community. I mean, that's the fact, because it's an kids are like a crossing, they still part. And they would be discipline on fire. That's the actual rule.
Thank you.
thank you. I did not know that. So, yes, okay.
I guess I agree with what everybody up here has said. I don't know a lot about it, so I'd have to really look into where we've gone down that road. 'Cause I live on VLA and I go up and down Elmer and I go, I hit one and I come back, I hit one. So I agree with everybody.
So my grade 1 teacher, Mrs. McDougall, said there's no such word as can't. A little bit of history, we actually have the council in 2005, just before I was elected, actually came up with 2 sets of plans. And one was for an over underpass engineered plans. One was an over underpass at Pine Street. And another one was, I think, at around Bell Street. And in more recent discussions, we were looking at if the highway's coming right in at Safety Mark, that would be a perfect spot to do an over underpass. And it came in at $10 million at that time. And when you look at funding something like that, it's sort of what we did with the water treatment plant. We had to come up with 1/3 of $7.2 million. We borrowed our share over 25 years. So there's ways of doing things if you want to do things. So thank you very much.
I grew up in Saskatoon where we had a railway switchyard in the back and highway at the front. Since then, I'm partially deaf in one ear, so I sleep on the other ear. I never hear it. But I know my wife complains a lot.
I've heard over the several years, there's actually a little story that goes along with the long train whistle. I'm not sure if anybody else has heard it, but several people have come and told me the long whistle that goes in the middle of the wee hours of the morning. Apparently, it's a disgruntled ex-husband, and the wife lives in Chase. And I've heard that from more than one person. But I do agree that we do need to look at some alternative, some way to connect both sides, because we can't have ambulances stuck on one side of the track for 30 minutes. That's life or death.
You have 3 more questions now, relax. What is your plan? What is your plan to incentivize new business in Chase? Oh yeah, this is a good one. What can you do to support the production and consumption of locally produced food in Chase? What can you do to support the production and consumption of locally produced food in Chase?
Well, basically we have some couple stores here that carry produce, and basically the best thing to do is get those businesses to buy local produce and then sell it in the store for us, or what most of us do is buy direct through the farmers market that we have here every Friday. Thank you.
I don't know if I understand the question. So my thinking is, I notice a lot of people that are hungry. We've had some troubles with COVID, a lot of no jobs, people struggling. For some of us, we grow our gardens and we put away for the winter. Maybe we could get maybe a larger plot of land and have more community gardens so people can grow and support and help themselves. Now, I don't know about how we support more of the local business. I mean, I think everybody goes and buys their produce, whatever you can't grow. So I'm not sure how the question doesn't quite, I don't understand it. So there you go.
Best thing to do is support them. We got corn, growers market, there's beautiful vegetables down there. So that's the only way, just support them. Being a retired produce manager, I know firsthand that when I worked for Safety Mart, I bought as much local produce as I could. Another thing that we should look at is maybe finding a new place for our farmers market. Someplace that's more centralized, easier to get, and parking. Also, there is programs out there where we can actually get coupons. So that when you go and buy something, it's on a coupon, so you pay half, and the association pays the other half. So that means that there's more produce sold, more produce grown. Thank you.
Supporting local at the farmers markets, and I'm not sure if it's a program that happens here, but something like a good food box might be a nice idea. Deliveries of fresh produce that people can order and sign up to, like a good food box.
I didn't really understand your question.
So some of you might find this hard to believe. I was a silent partner with my sister when she ran the Willows. And one of the plans was, we thought if we could have $20 from 50 of her best friends once a month, that was $1,000 a month, which would have been 12 grand a year. I think we had 5 or 6. People need to realize you don't have to show off everything in Chase, but just $20 once a month, $50 once a month, and the local business goes a long way. Thank you.
I think it'd be interesting if we could have like some kind of farmer's market uptown. It could be all year. People make jam. There's lots of things that can sell in the winter. And I think Chase would support it. I know I support all the local farmers.
I agree with Sandra there. Just support the local farmers, and we do have several farms around us that offer produce boxes. We've got lots of at the farmers market, like someone said, there's always great vegetables there. And just support local, and obviously, why wouldn't you want to have local produce than something that came on a truck from who knows where?
I've got a problem, and the problem is I've been here 21 years. And all of a sudden, there's no access to the corn farm. And I believe in progression, but progression that creates regression is I'm not in favor of. And I know the corn farm has been a staple of Chase for many, many years. I'd love to see it that way again. And it's not only corn, they have all sorts of varying produce and fruits and so on. So, yeah, we have to progress, but in a proper way. So we've got to get that VLA accessible again to all the people of Chase, I would think. Anyway,
Okay, I just wanted to say a few more comments before we leave. We have finished with the questions now. But I want to compliment the audience and the candidates. This has been the most civil, organized forum that we've ever had. Nobody's been throwing things and swearing at us all. But Berrigan swore. But I tried to cover it up. Nobody listens to him anyhow. Okay, thank you very much. Free to leave, but the thing that you're sitting on was worked on very hard to get put out. So if in your row, if you stack them all up into a pile, so we can go along and start and put them away.